Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We're going to talk a little NFL tonight, guys. Obviously, we're deep into this Packers bye week. It's going to be a game week here in about, I don't know, what will we say, Tim? About 4.5 hours we'll be on to. All right, man, we got us a game this week. Obviously, as the Bengals travel in to play the Packers at Lambeau. So what we're going to hit on tonight, we're going to go around the league, give you guys all an update, all the scores across the NFL. We're also going to hit the standings, talk about where the Packers sit in the playoff race. I know some people giggle at that, only 4 weeks, 5 weeks into the season now, but it's never too early to start getting your finger on the pulse of where the Packers may finish the season and which teams are hot, which teams are not. We'll hit a couple of the box scores as well, and then we'll wrap up, if we have time, we'll hit on some Packers defensive PFF grades. Before we get into all that, if you guys would, let's do that YouTube stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily, or in this case, during the bye week. We've covered just about everything, and we'll get you guys all caught up on the NFL action around the league. So if you're looking for that type of content on the daily, make sure you click subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live, and the chat is on fire. If you guys would, in the chat, everybody hit that like button for us. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening. Tim, it was a fun day of football, man. I don't know how much you got to watch, but I caught 4 or 5 different games through the Red Zone channel and doing the quad box all day. We had time to go out and get some ice cream, then come back in and finish watching the games. It was a blast, man. How was your day?
Good, man. Good. I didn't get to watch quite as many games. I did get a look, did a little scouting on the Bengals game. I'm sure we've got a final on that. We'll get into that. Kind of do a little scouting on our next opponent. But didn't look like we got much help today from anybody in the NFC. But yeah, good day for ball, man. Looking forward to Sunday Night Football here in a little bit.
I think about the only help we got, Tim, were those teams where it's like either team that won, you know what I mean? Didn't matter. Yep. One of them was going to help you. One of them was going to hurt you, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was a fun day of football for sure, man. Obviously, the nightcap tonight is going to be the 2-2 Patriots at the 4-0 Bills. And I was just telling Tim, man, I heard a statistic there earlier. Drake May now, with Josh McDaniels, you guys know Josh McDaniels was the OC for Tom Brady for all those championship, well, a good chunk of those championship seasons. Well, Drake May's leading the league in completion percentage, if I heard that stat correctly. So obviously they're trying to get that franchise turned back around with Mike Vrabel era starting there as well. So appreciate everybody chat. We see everybody in there. You guys and gals are awesome. Tim, let's do it, man. Let's walk around the league real quick, and let's start with the NFC North teams that played. Obviously, the Lions came into this week 3-1. To face the 2-2 Bengals. It was on the road in Cincinnati. Detroit Lions come away with the win there. They win 37-24. There's some fans across the league that you'll see a team like, say, the Browns when we get to the Browns and the Vikings game there. Obviously, we lost to the Browns, and the Vikings ended up beating them by 4 points. And immediately people think, well, that means the Vikings are a better team than the Packers. Okay, if you're going to use that same kind of logic, then what does that say about us beating the Lions, giving them their only loss, and they just dropped 37 points on the Bengals, and they continue to play really good football here lately? Again, it goes back to what we always say. Any given Sunday, anything can happen, and every week is a different game. It's a different game plan. It's different personnel. It's different matchups. It's different coaching matchups, the whole 9 yards, and obviously where you play it plays a big factor here. But the Lions beating the Bengals, Tim, 37-24. We'll take a look at the box score. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I didn't get to catch the end of that game, watch most of it. If anything, it tells us that despite the struggles that they're having in Cincinnati, they got fight in them. 21-point fourth quarter there to kind of creep back into that game against a really, really good Detroit defense. So I'm sure they probably rotated some guys out there towards the end. That might explain some of those scores. But, Jake Browning looks like what you'd expect, right? I guess. So I think it was a good scouting opportunity for us, knowing that we got the Bengals coming to town. But there were some moments that, that run defense that, Cincinnati has and their pass rush kind of came together. a few plays today I saw too. So any given Sunday, we can't take the Bengals for granted when they come to town, a week from today.
It's so true, man. Again, it just takes the ball bouncing, the wrong way one or two times, and next thing you know, you're in a dogfight. But Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, one nice thing about the bye week is that I don't have to worry about unspecial teams making my blood pressure shoot through the roof. So thank you for the super chat there, Godsmack. Appreciate you, pal. So yeah, in terms of what happened in this Lions and Bengals game, Jared Goff had a pretty good day. 19 to 23, 258 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 4 times. And then, of course, Jake Browning, the backup quarterback there, playing in replace of Joe Burrow. He went 26 of 40, 251 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, was only sacked twice, but those 3 picks, obviously a huge deciding factor in that game. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches for 100 yards. Now, when you look ahead to the Bengals next week for the Packers, if we were to do a little scouting, obviously Jamar Chase, it don't matter who the quarterback is, he's going to get his 6 catches for 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. There off of 10 targets. T. Higgins only 3 catches for 22 yards, but he also had a tutter as well. So obviously the Lions advanced to 4-1. They lead the NFC North as it sits right now. So moving on to the Vikings-Browns game. The Vikings come out on top 21-17. And I don't know what the line was on that game, but boy, oh boy, the Vikings missed a field goal where the ball hit the camera cable, and the refs didn't catch it. If there were implications on the betting line there, people lost money off that, boy, it's going to get real loud. I don't know what the exact line was. I just seen the replay back though, Tim. It was wild, man, because that kick, it looked like he hit it square. Next thing you know, it was wide right. And then I get home from going on the ice cream run, and lo and behold, it looked like it actually hit the cable. That was a wild thing to experience. But Vikings improved to 3-2 over the Browns, who are now 1-4. The Vikings win that game 21-17. What's your thoughts on that one there, Tim?
That's interesting. Hitting the cable there on the wire cam. We haven't seen that very often. I wonder if that has to do with international play, right? You're out there in England setting up in that stadium. Maybe it's just a slight difference in the way the equipment works, but that's unfortunate, man. But too bad Cleveland couldn't have stole one today. That would have been nice. And again, we're not getting any help here, really. Like you said, a few of the victories that we saw today didn't really affect us, but obviously, the Vikings putting their 3rd win of the season on the board today, that doesn't help. So we got to keep pace in our division with a win against Cincinnati for sure.
There you go, Tim. Mike Berry coming in with the important facts. 3.5-point spread. You see the score, 4 points.
How convenient.
Yeah. So let me think here a second though. Unless people teased it, right? If he's saying 3.5 points, who were the favorites there, right? I imagine it would have been, I don't know, it might have been the Browns. Who knows? Who were the favorites there? Because obviously the 4 points, if the Vikings were catching 3.5 points, it don't really matter, right? And then again, if the Browns are catching the 3.5 points, it's just weird because people were teasing the game, whether the numbers matched up or not. Man, when it's a 4-point difference in the ball game, a 3.5-point line, and you miss a call with a ball hitting a Skycam cable, Lord have mercy, man. That's just, you're asking for trouble for sure. He said Minnesota there. I appreciate it, Mike. You're the man. So Carson Wentz having a day, man. 25 of 34, 236 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked 3 times for 16 yards lost. Dillon Gabriel got to start for the Browns. I got to be honest, guys. I thought he looked good. I watched a large majority of that game, and Dillon Gabriel, he looks a lot further ahead than I expected him to be, obviously, as a 3rd-round pick. But 19 of 33, 190 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked twice for only a loss of 8 yards. That was the thing that I noticed about him, Tim, is he didn't take a whole lot of negative plays. He protected the football. Just wasn't enough to get it done. And listen, the Vikings defense has been solid, man.
Yeah.
If you look at their passing defense, they are actually leading the league in EPA per dropback going into this week at a minus 0.27. So Dillon Gabriel held his own out there. I think he'll be the starter moving forward. And Shedeur Sanders is going to be on that bench for a while, I believe.
Yeah, it looks that way, right? I think if Gabriel puts another week or two together of, decent football, that the Flacco experience might be over in Cleveland for sure.
It's wild, too, because you've got 2 rookies there kind of leading that team. Dillon Gabriel, obviously 3rd-round pick. He come out and played pretty good football. And then Quinshon Judkins, a rookie running back. Once again, another great week. 23 carries, 110 yards with a long of 32. So he seems to be the real deal. David Njoku led the way there, 6 catches for 67 yards. Justin Jefferson is just unbelievable, man. My God. I hate that he's in purple. 7 catches, 123 yards. Didn't have a tutter, but boy, it seemed like every time they needed to play, especially on third down, he was the go-to guy, obviously, and had a hell of a game. So Vikings improved to 3-2 on the season there. Let's continue around the league. Obviously, we got the Patriots Bills going to be kicking off here 8:20 Eastern at 7:20 Lambeau time. The rest of the games, though, we're going to kind of go backwards. They always show the Thursday night game first, so we'll get to it last, and that's totally fine. The Colts boat race the Raiders 40-6. And I haven't looked at the box score yet. Let's take a quick glance. But man, oh man, Danny Dimes has got that team humming. Tim, I remember I went to a business conference where they had Coach David Cutcliffe. They had him as the guest speaker at that business conference. You guys don't know who David Cutcliffe was. He worked hand in hand with Peyton Manning, bringing him up through the college ranks. I think he was his personal coach in the offseason as well. Well, he was the one who was coaching Daniel Jones when he was in college. Now, Daniel Jones, a high draft pick, he gets to the league. He absolutely is booty cheeks for the New York Giants. Although he had one good season, they went on a little play. They made a little playoff push. They made it to the playoffs. They gave him a contract extension. Then he went back to being cheeks. Man, he looks like he fits in perfectly over there with Shane Steichen with the Indianapolis Colts, as he was 20 of 29, 212 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And the coach just beat the brakes off the Raiders, Tim, 40-6. You're muted, brother.
Sorry about that. 2 20-point quarters there, back to back, second and third quarter. You think they won the middle 8? I'm willing to bet you they won the middle 8. We talked about this going into this year. Indy was one of those teams that I really thought was going to be, not even sneaky good, but just a team you can't afford to sleep on in the AFC this year. I think it's going to make the playoff picture real interesting as the season continues to progress on, but Indianapolis looks like a different team compared to the Colts team that we took care of business last season, Yeah,
definitely. And Geno Smith, 25 of 36, 228. Not a bad look at the stat line until you get to the 2 picks. He threw 2 interceptions, and he lost 38 yards on 4 sacks. Rough day at the office there for Geno Smith for sure. Just looking around, nothing else really there. So, again, the Colts beat the Raiders 40-6. Moving along, the Giants and the Saints. This was the toilet bowl right here, and the Saints finally get their first win of the season as they defeat the Giants 26-14. I think their starting quarterback is still Spencer Rattler. It is 21 of 31, 225 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks. Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback, went 26 of 40 for the New York Giants, 202 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 sack, only there for a loss of 3 yards. It's wild because I believe it was last week. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I think the Giants, they beat the Chargers last week. The Chargers were undefeated, right? Now, all of a sudden, the Giants come back this week and play a winless Saints team on the road, and the Saints beat them.
That's
crazy.
This
is the league, man. This is the NFL. I love it, dude. Any given Sunday, man. We say it all the time.
Absolutely. And that was Jackson Dart's second start, correct? They made the change last week?
Correct, yeah.
First start, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, typical ups and downs for a rookie QB. I didn't get to see this game, but I'm assuming those – at least one of those 2 picks was probably on the rookie quarterback. Maybe had a bad read. But yeah, good to see the Saints finally get in the win column, and the Jets are still 0-5. So that makes me happy. We'll take it.
Glad you mentioned it, man. It makes me happy too. Let's jump into it right here. As the Cowboys beat the Jets 37-22. Aaron Glenn off to an 0-5 start. Couldn't happen to a better human being, in my opinion. I cannot stand that cat, dude. Just watching his antics on the sideline, knowing how he disrespected Aaron Rodgers. Do you think he's wondering, probably could have used old A-Rod back in the Jets fold this year, the way Aaron's playing there in Pittsburgh. But Cowboys improved to 2-2 and dropped 37 points on that Jets defense, who going into the season, a lot of people thought the Jets defense was going to be solid. And you got 37 points, man. That's saying a lot. Now, maybe there was a defensive touchdown. I don't know. But nonetheless, Dak Prescott continues doing what he does, man. Look at this stat line here, Tim. 18 of 29, 237 yards passing. Nothing great, right? 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Only took 1 sack that lost 1 yard. On the other side, you had Justin Fields, 32 of 46, 283 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but he was sacked 5 times and lost 49 yards. So Cowboys starting to pick up a little steam here, man.
Looks like they really got the run game going there. Javonte Williams, 135 yards on 16 carries and a tutter, long of 66 yards. Holy cow. So I'm sure that Jets defensive front had their hands full all night, which obviously, opened things up for Dak in the passing game. So, normally we don't want to see the Cowboys get a win, but I don't know. I'm with you, man. I'm not a fan of what they're doing over there in Jersey. So we'll take the loss for the Jets all day.
Yeah, as Coach Lynn says, Aaron Glenn clown. He really is, man. It's just one of those weird. I don't know how the players see right through that. They know he's a phony. Yeah. So when it comes to the Cowboys, the other thing here, CeeDee Lamb out, right? CeeDee Lamb out of the lineup, and what happens? Ryan Flournoy, 6 catches for 114 yards on 9 targets. George Pickens 2 for 57 and a touchdown. There, Jake Ferguson 7 for 49, and 2 tutters there for Jake Ferguson as well. So the Cowboys improve to 2-2 over the Jets, 37-22. All right, moving along here. We got the Broncos defeating the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm wondering if it's going to continue to get loud over there in Philly. Obviously, you had our boy A.J. Brown has been very, very vocal and upset already. I say very vocal. He's doing this whole thing on social media and just making little snide comments, and he's reading books on the sidelines like last year, this and that. You could tell when he gets upset. Obviously, he's going to make it well known on the TV cameras there. But the Broncos win 21-17. They're 3-2. The Eagles are now 4-1 as they drop their first loss of the season. And it looked like the Broncos, Tim, as you can see, 18 points in the fourth
stormed
quarter.
Right back into the game. That was a Sean Payton special for sure. I watched the end of that game, and yeah, man, A.J. Brown's not going to be very happy too. I don't know if you saw the last play of the game. They had a Hail Mary opportunity in the end zone, and it looked like it was Devontae Smith playing defense against his teammate. You had 2 receivers going up, one in front of the other. Pretty sure if you watch that play, you'll see it looked like A.J. Brown had a good play on that ball, and I don't know, miscommunication there in the scramble drill in the back of the end zone. But they had a chance there at the end. Philly did to get back in. But, what an amazing, really fourth quarter from Denver, finally getting it going and getting that dub. Yeah, and the ice water in the veins decision for them to go for 2 after getting that touchdown, being down 1, they could have easily went for the tie and continued to play. But they took the 2-point conversion in the lead, and I think that was pretty demoralizing for Philly.
Yeah, the only other clip I seen in this game was A.J. Brown on a deep shot. He was wide open, had the coverage beat, and Jalen Hurts missed him like 5 yards deep. So it's like you could just see him kind of pull up like, what the crap.
Yep.
I don't know, though, man. Maybe they'll hold it together. They did last year. The same thing. I will say this, guys. If I were to defend the Philadelphia Eagles for just a second, this was the same talk around this team last year. And then all of a sudden they got hot at the right time and they won a Super Bowl, and all the receivers are no longer upset, right? So,
is that how many unbeatens do we have left now? So Philly's off the list.
Question. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Tim, we'll see it here in a minute with the standings. I don't know right offhand, but there's just got to be a handful, right? 2 or 3 maybe.
I think so.
Oh, there you go. Bates said just the Bills. Yeah. So
okay, they play tonight, so we'll see.
Yeah, maybe the Patriots can knock them off, and the 72 Dolphins can crack open that champagne, right? Like they always do. The big thing that sticks out to me is how they held Saquon Barkley in check here, though. Denver's defense, 6 carries, 30 yards. Now, obviously, maybe I don't know, man. It sounds like, I mean, what you've seen with the box score there quarterly, the Eagles were leading the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So why were y'all getting away from Saquon? Did he go out of the game maybe with an injury or something? Of course, they only ran the ball a total of 11 times. So,
I mean, look at the carries. I mean, that's crazy.
The fact that you were winning that game the entire time and you still decided to throw the ball 38 times with Saquon Barkley in the backfield is just wild to think about, for sure. So, yeah. All right. And, that's pretty much it. Devonta Smith, eight catches for 114 yards. A.J. Brown was targeted 8 times, 5 catches, 43 yards. It was Cortland Sutton that stepped up for Denver, 8 catches for 99 yards on only 10 targets. I say only 10 targets. He caught 8 of the 10 targets. Obviously, it's a lot of targets for one game. But, so the Broncos improved to 3-2, and the Eagles fall to 4-1. So we got a little bit of help there in the NFC, right? Not that it matters too much, but that is one of the few games that we felt like we got some help. Moving along, the 1-3 Dolphins traveled to Carolina to play the 2-2 Panthers. I'm sorry, the 1-3 23 Panthers. The Panthers came out on top 27-24. They were blanked there in the first quarter, and then they got things going in the second, scoring 10 points, added another 3 in the third, and then finished the game off with 14 points there in the fourth quarter as the Panthers improved to 2-3 on the season. And it looks like here Bryce Young, 19 of 30, 198 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was sacked 3 times for a loss of 19 yards. Tua Tagovailoa went 27 of 36, 256, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times for 27 yards lost. If you just looked at the quarterback comparisons here, Tim, you would think that the Dolphins probably won that ball game.
Yeah.
But obviously the Panthers come out with a win here.
Yeah, Miami finding ways to lose ball games as per usual. Hell of a game there. Rico Dowdle there, 23 carries, 206 yards, and a tutter for Carolina's rushing attack. So that must have made things interesting in this game. But yeah, I mean, Miami seemed to have control of this one and just let it get away from them. You know, of course, we as Packer fans shouldn't talk, right? We did that in Cleveland.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does.
Everyone has those type of days. But yeah, Miami's got to find a way to win a damn ball game here at some point.
Yeah. And, you know, I think it was last week they squeaked one out there, right? And got that win over the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Which that's like, you know, beating up on the smallest kid in the neighborhood when you're growing up. You know what I mean? Ain't much to brag about there. But yeah, when it comes to Ted McMillan, I want to point this out, man. Obviously, we had him as he might have been the top receiver on our draft board. I can't remember, but he was toward it. I think he was hands down our number 1 receiver in the draft. He's off to a solid start, Tim. 6 catches for 73 yards on only 8 targets. You've seen it all over the tape. And they tried to beat that kid down right before the draft. He doesn't love ball. He doesn't like watching film. They released that tape from 2 years earlier where he said, I don't really like watching film outside of watching it with the team. Everybody's you just know that was teams leaking stuff out and trying to get him to drop on the board to them. But Ted McMillan seems like the real deal, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you can tell by just the deployment, right? I mean, he's getting targets, clearly a rookie that could handle being thrown into the fire, and he's answered the bell, man, for sure.
Yeah, definitely has. Moving along, we had this one's going to surprise the heck out of everybody. Houston, Texas came in this game, and they were sitting at 1-3, right? And they've been struggling. We've been talking about it all season long here in this early season. The Ravens were sitting at 1-3 as well, but you just kind of feel like the Ravens are going to put it together. Where if I remember correctly, Lamar Jackson was out this game. Guys, the Texans boat raced the Ravens 44-10 on the road in Baltimore.
Wow.
And it wasn't just one quarter, Tim. They scored 7 in the first, 17 in the second, 10 in the third. They won the middle eight, I guarantee it. And 10 points in the fourth quarter. When you go to the box score here, C.J. Stroud was on one, man. 23 of 27, only 4 incompletions, 244 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked twice for only a loss of 17 yards. And, it looked like Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback for the Ravens. He went 14 of 20, 179 yards passing, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's how you lose a ball game right there, boys.
Yeah, definitely. Cooper Rush doing Cooper Rush things, right? 3 completions to your opponent. Surprised they didn't lean on Derrick Henry there a little bit more, but I mean, 15 carries, 33 yards. That's not a good day at the office for him, right? It kind of interesting this afternoon. 2 of the better backs, or if not the best backs in the league, Saquon and Derrick Henry, they're both kind of not stellar performances today in losing efforts.
Yeah, Ed Madden points out in the chat, Kyle Hamilton was out too. That's a huge loss there, obviously. So,
yep.
Obviously we don't know everything about these teams and their injury concerns and, other things that may be going on, but on the surface, this just looks like a horrible loss in Baltimore. I mean, if we were out Xavier McKinney and we got beat 45-10 at home, Tim, I would still be like, dang, what is going on here? And that's a beautiful thing. It's easy to, we just harped on Cooper Rush, right? And he struggled, obviously, being the backup quarterback there in Baltimore. But that's the difference between how the Packers team is built and some of these other teams. I mean, if Malik Willis is a starting quarterback, I'm not thinking we're going to get beat 45 or 44-10. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I think we're still in that ball game all the way through.
For sure. We've talked about that. I think we have one of the best backups in the NFL. Hopefully we don't need them, but it is good to feel that way, right? Especially when you're confident in your receiving core and some of the weapons we have. When you got someone who can step in when your QB1's down, it's huge. We saw that firsthand last year with our team.
Yeah. And Coach Lynn says the Ravens are, I think he was trying to say, imploding right now. Did you see Van Noy's comments after the game? I did not, Coach. If you'll put that in there for me, let me know, man. I'd like to know what he said. We'll keep an eye on it and see if we can catch it. Jair Alexander did. Was that?
I was going to say frustration probably boiling over there a little bit.
Yeah. We talk about culture in the locker room all the time. The reality is if you're winning football games, you got a good culture. If you're losing football games, it's going to be hard to have any kind of culture in that locker room, man. Those guys get upset quick. Jair Alexander did play in this game. He only had 2 tackles. To the best of my knowledge, he didn't have an interception. Yeah, obviously no picks there for the Ravens. So Jair seems like he's just about done, I believe, man.
Just fighting to stay on the field, really, it seems like at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, moving along here. We hit the Ravens. All right, next, the Titans get their first win of the season against the Cardinals, who came into this game 2-2. So they dropped to 2-3. The Titans improved to 1-4. It was fun, man, watching Cam Ward throw a pass deep. It was kind of a deep corner, like a 9 fade. Beautiful ball on the sideline. Got them right down there, well within field goal range. It kind of put them in a position where they could run the ball, run the clock down, and kick a game-winning field goal. The Titans did just that, getting their first win of the season. So Cam Ward obviously was our top quarterback in the draft. He went 21 of 39 for 265 yards passing. He did have a pick, and he was sacked twice for a loss of 16 yards total. Kyler Murray went 23 of 31, 220 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times and lost 28 yards there. So Cam Ward, 265 yards passing. You don't like the pick, but had enough to get that win there. I guess that was on the road in Arizona, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was another tragic fumble out of the back of the end zone today. I believe it was DeMarcado, 31, Amari DeMarcado. Had a walk-in touchdown, and he celebrated too early. Probably cost Arizona the game for sure.
There you go, man. Seems like every week something like that's happening. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a pretty good day at the office. I know he's been struggling this year. 5 targets, 4 catches, 98 yards. And then, of course, Trey McBride, one of the up-and-coming, one of the solid tight ends in the league, 5 catches for 41 yards there. Calvin Ridley, have yourself a ball game. 5 catches, 131 yards. Now, you had 10 targets. Seemed like Cam Ward said, F it. Calvin's down there somewhere all day long.
Yeah. Think play or not play, right?
That's it. It worked today as the Titans get a win there, 22-21 on the road in Arizona. Moving along, now we got the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. I thought this was going to be the game of the week, and boy, oh boy, was it. It was a lot of fun to watch. I caught the tail end of it as the Buccaneers squeaked by the Seahawks 38-35. The Buccaneers improved 4-1. Seahawks fall to 3-2. That's 2 teams that's going to be in the playoff hunt all year long, I believe, man.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to the box score here, Baker Mayfield is just – he's playing MVP caliber football right now, man. Both of these guys are, to be honest with you, both him and Sam Darnold. 29 of 33 for 379 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks for Baker Mayfield. Was only sacked 1 time. And then you jump over to Sam Darnold, man. He did everything pretty much everything he did deserved to win as well. 28 of 34, 341 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was not sacked all day long. And it looks like, man, you guys remember us talking about Emeka Egbuka in the draft process, and I remember people saying he's a slide, he's not what we need. Egbuka was one of my favorite receivers. If you'll remember, you can go back on our Patreon group and look at the rundown. I think I actually said in one of the articles I wrote, why Egbuka is the guy. I remember mentioning that. He checked all the boxes for me. He really did. And they were talking about his maturity and how he's going to be, of all the receivers, maybe even more so than Ted McMillan, he was going to be the most pro-ready receiver of this entire class. Man, 7 targets, 7 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown. He catches everything that comes his way, Tim. As obviously Tampa Bay, led by Egbuka and Baker Mayfield, get the win there on the road in Seattle, 38-35.
Yeah, both of these teams playing really good football to start the year. Honestly, I don't know who's playing better. I guess we'd have to say Tampa Bay, right? They got the dub today. They go to 4-1. But really, if you look at those receiving numbers, both sides, man, you talk about spreading the football around. A lot of players getting their hands on the football. So just real good quarterback play from both of these teams. And I agree with you, Clayton. I think, come the end of this season here, when we're looking at the playoff picture formulating, these are teams that are going to be in the mix on the NFC side for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. So there, like I said, that was kind of the game of the week for me. I was really looking forward to that. And then the Commanders go into Los Angeles against the Chargers and get a W, 27-10. So the Commanders are now 3-2 on the season. The Chargers fall to 3-2 as they've, I think, lost 2 in a row now. They started hot, Tim, scored 10 points in the first quarter and then blanked the rest of the way. So the Commanders really shut that offense down there, that Jim Harbaugh offense. out there in LA as the Commanders improved to 3-2. When you go to the box score, Jaden Daniels, pretty good day at the office, 15 of 26, 231 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks, was only sacked once. Looked like the story of the day here for the Chargers struggles was Herbert getting sacked. He took 4 sacks, lost 24 yards. He's pretty efficient throwing the football other than 1 pick, though, 22 of 29, 166 yards passing, a touchdown, and 1 interception there. Herbert also ran the ball 4 times for 60 yards. So it sounded like he was running for his life all day long. When you have 4 carries as a quarterback, as a pocket passing quarterback, and you were also sacked 4 times, my guess is the rush was hitting home too.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Something's going on with that O-line in LA. Tough for them to handle this, this Washington defensive front, man, particularly the linebackers too, I'm sure had a day as per usual. And I think Washington, despite the kind of up and down start that they've had themselves, I think that's another team you're talking about in the playoff mix on the NFC side.
Yeah. And they, their offensive line's banged up. You remember I'm pretty sure it was them that signed. Yeah, it was them. They signed Rashawn Slater, right, to a huge contract. I think it was that week of the extension, he tears his knee up and he's out for the season. And now I think they lost Joe Alt. I want to say Joe Alt didn't play in this game. I'm not 100% sure. If you guys know, throw it in the chat. But I think Joe Alt's out as well. So you get your top 2 tackles missing the ball game there, and you go in against a Dan Quinn defense and the Commanders that likes to get after the quarterback. You look up and the game's out of control after the first quarter for sure. Yeah, as everybody, Jake confirmed there. Yep. So Alt was definitely out too. So Deebo Samuel, man, 8 catches for 96 yards. There you go. So Deebo is coming alive for the Commanders here as he was targeted 11 times and got, like I said, 8 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. That was the story of the day there for Washington. So there you go. There's your rundown. Of course, we had the Thursday night game we already talked about earlier in the week, but the 49ers improved 4-1 over the Rams, who dropped to 3-2, a couple other 3-1 teams. So you had what you essentially had, Tim, was 4 of the top teams in the NFC had to play each other this week, essentially. And so you got a little bit of help, but you also, 2 other teams in the NFC kind of stretched that lead out a little bit more in the standings there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that San Fran and LA game, divisional game too. So that's huge implications there. Again, it's going to be I think we're slowly seeing a power balance kind of changing in the AFC, as you see, Baltimore struggling right now, Kansas City not having the greatest start to their season. And then you're seeing teams like, Jacksonville and Indy and, a couple of guys that you probably might have overlooked last year are starting to look a little better this year. But on the NFC side, man, it looks like it's going to be an absolute slugfest going down the stretch to try and get one of these 7 playoff spots in the NFC for sure.
No doubt about it, man. So Monday Night Football, Chiefs at the Jaguars. Who would have thought the Chiefs would be 2-2 and the Jaguars 3-1? That's wild to think about, man. And then, of course, tonight we'll be tuning into the Patriots at the Buffalo Bills as the Patriots are trying to knock off the only undefeated team left in the league here in this early 2025 season. Let's switch gears now, Tim, and go to the standings. Let's take a quick look around the NFL. And we won't do it in any particular order. We'll just kind of run through, see if I can get this zoomed in a little bit more for you guys. Maybe a little bit better. Here we go. All right, let's start in the AFC, and then we'll wrap it up with our beloved NFC. In the East, the Bills come into tonight's Sunday Night Football game of the week. 4-0, they're leading the AFC East. However, if the Patriots can knock them off, they would improve to 3-2, and the Bills would drop to 4-1. And now you put yourself within striking distance there to try to take over that AFC East division there. But the Bills are leading the way in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers are leading the way there with Aaron Rodgers. They are 3-1. The Bengals now are 2-2. The Baltimore Ravens 1-4. And, of course, the Cleveland Browns 1-4. Man, the Ravens being 1-4 is just a wow. I can't get over it. And the big thing that sticks out to me, I know Lamar's hurt and, this and that. That defense allowing 177 points so far, Tim, is a wild statistic, man.
Yeah, that's totally uncharacteristic of what we've seen in Baltimore for – the better part of a decade or so with their defenses. But, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish, right? There's plenty of time for some of these teams to turn it around, but I don't think anybody in the NFL world expected a 1-4 start from the Ravens.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, AFC South, the Indianapolis Colts is kind of the surprise team this year, along with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts are 4-1. they're leading the way. The Jaguars are 3-1, and then the Texans improved to 2-3. The Titans improved to 1-4. So it's kind of looking like a two-team race there, although Houston may have something to say about it by the end of the season, where that offense looked today. But the Colts are leading the way 4-1 there with a point differential of a plus 74 on the season, man. The Colts are looking like one of the best teams in football. I know Pat McAfee's fired up about it. If you ever watch his show, he is a season ticket holder. He's always complaining about how much money he's paid for that box suite there on the field. I think he's finally getting his money's worth now.
Yeah, they're playing good ball, man. They really are. But it's a long season, right? Like we said, a lot of things can happen between now and playoff time, but Indy looks like the best team in the division for sure right now.
Yeah. And then in the AFC West, the Chargers, despite losing, I think 2 in a row, right? Yeah, they're on a 2-game losing streak. They're still they're technically in the lead in the AFC West at 3-2. The Broncos have the same record though at 3-2. If I had to put my money on a team, it's probably the Broncos in the West. Yeah. Man, they seem to be playing the best ball. And the Chiefs obviously sitting at 2-2. They'll play tomorrow night, and the Raiders are sitting at 1-4. So Chargers and Broncos, and hell, let's be honest, Tim. By the time we get to week 12 or week 13, we're going to look up Kansas City, probably going to be right there in the mix, if not leading the division. You know how that goes.
Absolutely. I would anticipate maybe Kansas City moving up, and then perhaps Chargers, moving backwards a little bit. Denver, I'm with you. I think Denver would be my pick if anyone's going to run away with that division. I think it could be Denver. But yeah, Kansas City's not going to play themselves out of contention. You know that. They're going to hang around.
Yeah. Not going to happen, that's for sure. Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East leading the way. They dropped to 4-1 today, but they still got a 1-game lead there over the Washington Commanders, who are sitting at 3-2. The Dallas Cowboys have now improved to 2-2, and the Giants are sitting at 1-4. This feels like a 3-team race. My money would be on the Eagles, the defending champions. I just think they've got a strong enough defense. You see, they've only allowed 109 points up to this point, although the Commanders have had a more effective scoring defense than the Eagles right now at 101 points allowed. So, again, man, we beat the Commanders. The Commanders are right there neck and neck with the Eagles in the NFC East. Well, we beat the Commanders. We talk about the Lions. We'll get to the NFC North next. They're obviously leading the North. We beat the Lions at home. Right. So it's just any given Sunday, man. I have a lot of faith in the Packers having a good season here. I really do. But what do you think about the NFC East? Who would be your pick right now, Tim? I know there's a lot of football left, but who would be your pick for the East? Would it be the Eagles, Commanders, or the Cowboys?
I mean, I think the safe bet is Philly. I think Philly's going to win the division, but I think everything's going to hinge on how Dallas continues to play, and then whether or not Washington can kind of ride this hot streak. I don't think anyone thinks the Giants are, legit contenders over there. But to me, it's between, if you're looking at, number 2, it's probably going to be Dallas and Washington. But, even though the Eagles took that L today, I don't see them not winning that division. I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, for me, I mean, if I had to bet, if somebody asks me a question like this, I always say, if I had to bet the farm, right? If I had to bet the farm, my money would be on the Eagles. However, Commanders, man, they've scored more points than the Eagles, and they've given up less points. So they're actually, statistically playing better football than the Eagles. The Eagles got that block kick that won that game for them that they returned for the touchdown or whatever it was. Some things have kind of bounced their way. And then as you've seen today, maybe the first game where things didn't go their way, right? So it's all going to come down to how they respond, right, after that loss for sure. So, all right, NFC North. I know it's what we were waiting on here, guys. So the Lions are leading the way at 3-1. The Packers are right behind them at 2-1-1, and the Minnesota Vikings are third at 3-2. The Bears in the basement at 2-2. A lot of football left, but when you look at how this stacks up, essentially what you've got is that tie. Listen, I know everybody was upset about the tie, and everybody wanted. I say everybody. I know it wasn't everybody. The loud minority wanted the Packers just be aggressive on that final drive. Let's go win this thing. Hell with the tie. Let's go score a touchdown. That tie is going to come in really, really handy, because if you get overly aggressive and you lose that ball game, things shift quite a bit here for Green Bay. But again, they're right on the heels of the Detroit Lions, and I'm excited about them playing again. They play on Thanksgiving this year. Am I thinking right? Is that the next game they play? I'm going to pull it up real quick.
We're at Detroit on the 27th. Yep.
There you go. So that's going to be great, man. I just have a feeling by the time we get to week 13, early game too, you're not in the turkey coma yet. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome, dude, to see that game unfold in Detroit. Definitely.
But just looking at the North right now, man, you're right. The tie does, as much as it hurts, it also helps, right? It's not a loss. As you see Minnesota and Chicago with their 2 losses, that's really what's keeping us going, just the one. But all the more reason that you cannot afford to stumble out of the bye and take a team like Cincinnati for granted. There is no reason we should lose this game at home coming off of a bye week. We got to win to keep pace really with Detroit and Minnesota in this division going forward, because I think nobody's going to run away with the North, Clay. I think this could come down to the last, 2 or 3 weeks of football. And, we've got a lot of divisional matchups to round out the season too. So important for the Pack to play well out of the bye against Cincinnati.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the number one Packer fan says Packers winning the Super Bowl this year. This is a Super Bowl team. Love the optimism.
Go. I love it. How about Packers Steelers? Right, Clayton? Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it.
And as somebody in the chat, I want to thank Pivot. Thank you so much, buddy. I didn't hit refresh there after that game. So the Lions are actually 4-1 there. Yep. Is where they're sitting at. So that game wasn't finished when I had that pulled up. Hopefully most of these were correct when we were going through them. I believe they were. So Tampa Bay, let's go to the NFC South here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers improved to 4-1. Baker Mayfield got that team humming. They've scored 135 points. If they can get their defense under control, who's giving up 132 points, they're going to be in a lot better shape. But obviously they're sitting at the top of the NFC South at 4-1. The Falcons at 2-2, the Panthers at 2-3, and the Saints at 1-4 there. No big surprise. Again, Baker Mayfield playing good football, man. I think that he may be the front runner for MVP right now.
I agree. And I feel like the way the South is set up right now is probably how it's going to look going into the playoffs too. I think Tampa Bay is probably going to win that division. Atlanta may be breathing down their neck a little bit, but I don't think anyone's scared of New Orleans or Carolina at all, unless we see different.
Right. And so the NFC West, surprise, surprise, even with all the injuries of the quarterback and Christian McCaffrey banged up early and this and that, Kyle Shanahan's got that team sitting at 4-1. I'm not surprised one damn bit. It makes me angry, Tim. It makes me very angry. Seattle Seahawks at 3-2, the Rams at 3-2, and then the Cardinals at 2-3 as they lost today. What do you think about the NFC West? Because it kind of feels like you may have 3 playoff teams come out of that division, kind of like we did in the North last year. They kind of feel like the new North.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, between Seattle, LA, and San Francisco, yeah. I mean, those are all, in my mind, playoff teams, right? It's going to be interesting to see how things shape up in the NFC picture because, for all we know, we could be a wild card team. We don't know at this point of the year. And, we all know about our history with playoff matchups against the 49ers, right? I don't think I need to remind anybody. So hopefully the season ends a little differently. You never know.
Yeah. Love what Chester Marco says in here. He says, who is the one in the Lions 4-1?
That would be us, baby.
Yeah, and I love the point to that stuff because the ultra negative fans that like to point out, well, how do we lose to the Browns? Okay, you lose to the Browns, you're not. There's no way you're in Super Bowl contention. Okay, well, we beat arguably the best team in the NFC.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Again, it just comes down to any given Sunday. It really does. So
I agree. Can't wait for that Monday night game against the Eagles coming up too. That's gonna be a fun character test right there for sure.
It really is, man, no doubt. All right, let's just take one look at the playoff look here, and then we'll wrap up. So if the playoffs were to start today, remind me again, guys, in the chat. I'm still so confused. How many teams get in? Is it 7 teams, Tim? Is that what it is? Seven in each. I still think back to the 90s sometime. My brain will go back to the playoff format and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being in the same division as the Packers back in the day. You know what I mean? It's
playoffs? Don't talk.
It's amazing how your childhood memories just won't let go. I can't remember what I ate.
Back in the NFC Central days, right? That was when we were the Central Division.
And some of the best games, though, were Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Brett Favre and the Packers. God, they were a blast to watch.
Absolutely.
Man. Absolute blast. So in the AFC, if the playoffs were to start right now, it would be the Buffalo Bills in the 1 seed, the Colts the 2, Steelers 3, Chargers 4, Jaguars 5, Broncos 6, Chiefs 7. Surprise, surprise. Somehow the Chiefs make it in, right? That's how the AFC would shake out. Now, if we jump over to the NFC, the seeding would be Philadelphia 1, San Francisco 2, Tampa Bay 3, Detroit 4, and the Packers would be the 5th seed there, okay? And, then you got the Seahawks in the 6th seed. The Vikings creeping up, though. They've got them listed in the 7th seed here as it cuts off right there. The Commanders are on the outside looking in if the playoffs were to start today. So that's really interesting. Both the Commanders and the Rams will be on the outside looking in. So
interesting.
That's that tie, man. You got a loss there. You're obviously down here with the Falcons and the Bears in that grouping there. So
Yep.
a lot of football.
Hopefully we can get one of these NFC teams or two of these NFC teams to tie later on this year too, kind of balance things out in the NFC. Be interesting.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right. Anything else you want to hit on the playoffs here, Tim? Are we good?
No, I think we're good.
Cool. All right, guys. There was your rundown, man. Again, not a whole lot going on with the Packers this week. I checked Twitter, just make sure nothing broke, no news, no contracts, anything like that coming down the pike. So what we're going to do tomorrow is obviously it's going to be a game week as we've got the Cincinnati Bengals coming into town. And what we'll do is starting tomorrow, we're going to dive into the defense PFF grades for the Packers, show you guys who's really sticking out on defense like we did with the offense yesterday. And then maybe what we'll do, I think it'd be a fun little exercise on the following day on Tuesday. Why don't we go ahead and dive into some of the rookie grades? Let's go through our draft board, and I'm going to try to get, if I can, PFF grades attached to a copy of our draft board. So I'll make sure that Emilio gets that up for you guys in the Patreon group too as well. I'll try to do that when I get home from work tomorrow. So the goal will be by the end of tomorrow, you guys will have a copy of our draft board. And then on the far right column, I'd like to have, or maybe even a column right next to the name, their PFF grades through 4 weeks or 5 weeks now in their NFL debut season. So that would be really, really fun to kind of see how that all shakes out. And again, if you want access to that, you just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Also, make sure if you're a member of the $3 tier, that gets you entered into the giveaway. So we're going to be doing a giveaway here real soon for an autographed Marshawn Lloyd rookie card. Excited to break that one out. It's a nice one too. It almost looks like a portrait card by Topps. Really nice piece of memorabilia that was donated from our good friend Rick Kruger, who watches and listens to the show. Tim, tell them about the awesome promotion we got here, and we got a giveaway attached to anyone who wants to give to a great cause, man.
Yeah, absolutely. For the whole month of October, Clayton was so generous to hook us up with an autographed Romeo Doubs. You said it's a white away jersey, correct? Signed Romeo Doubs, white away jersey. So every donation to Operation Horse's Heel is an entry onto the prize wheel for your chance to get that Romeo Doubs jersey. You can go to operationhorsesheal.org/how-can-I-help. Otherwise, you can scan that QR code at the top right. We're trying to raise enough money to get them close to their goal of $30K to get them a new truck and trailer to help transport these horses to some of these veteran-driven events around the region. So please, any little donation helps. $1, $5, whatever you can do. It all adds up, definitely. There's also more info on our Twitter pages as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
If you go
X
to
pages, go to x.com. Sorry.
If you go to @Packers_access, you'll see it's pinned at the top of my page. I have quote tweeted a tweet from Tim. If you click on Tim's tweet right there, you'll see the link. It's real easy. You click right on it, whether you're on your phone or your computer. It'll take you right to the donation page. Just make sure you put PTA next to your name as your donor name, and we'll get you entered into that giveaway for the Romeo Doubs jersey. We'll be drawing that the first week of November. It's going to run all through the month of October, like Tim said. So, appreciate you finding us an awesome cause here for the veterans to give to, Tim. And it's our pleasure to be able to give back. There's no doubt, man, for those who gave so much for us, our freedom to be able to sit here and talk about this silly little game of football anytime we want, man. It's just awesome.
So true. It's so true. And thank you to everyone who's been donating so far. Big shout out to Cannonball John, too. Cannonball John got a donation, and I forgot to mention him the other day. So thank you to everyone who's helping out, support the cause.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We'll be back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Looks like the game's about to kick off here. So enjoy the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots facing up there in Orchard Park. Should be a fun ball game. Anytime you get division rivals together like that, it's going to be a blast. But we'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody hit that like, hit subscribe on your way out. Let us know if you're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about the standings? What do you think about the playoff seeding? What do you think about how things have unfolded? Maybe your favorite game of this last week. Let us know how you feel, whether you're a Packer fan or a fan of another team. We're going to try to do that every Sunday moving forward. Is just do a quick little rundown and give you guys an idea of what happened across the league. And obviously, it was a lot easier to do this week with the Packers not playing. But we'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a great night. God.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.